Apartheid, one of the darkest chapters in human history. A system that divided people by color, controlled every aspect of life, and shaped generations with pain and inequality. But who started apartheid? When did it begin? And why was it created? Today, we uncover the roots of apartheid, how a country built on diversity was torn apart by laws of hate. Long before the word apartheid existed, South Africa was already divided. When the British took control in the early 1800s, they clashed with the Afrikaners, white settlers of Dutch origin who called themselves Boers. The discovery of diamonds and gold in 1867 to 1886 changed everything. Black Africans were forced to leave their homes to work in the mines for low wages, while white businesses and colonial leaders got rich. By 1910, the British united 4 colonies to form the Union of South Africa. Black South African had no voting rights, no land ownership and little freedom. 1913, Natives Land Act, 87% of land reserved for whites. 1927, Immorality Act, banned interracial relationships. 1936, black voters removed from the common roll. The foundation of apartheid had been laid long before the name appeared. The year was 1948. After World War II, the world was talking about freedom and equality, but South Africa took the opposite path. The National Party, led by Dr. Daniel Francisco Malan, won the election. They promised to protect white civilization and introduced a new word to the world, apartheid, meaning apartness in Afrikaans. The policy of apartheid is a policy of good neighborliness, but it was not about good neighbors. It was about control. The architects of apartheid were men like D.F Malan, Prime Minister and the father of apartheid; Hendrik Verwoerd, the Minister of Native Affairs, later Prime Minister, known as the brain behind apartheid laws; J.G. Strydom and B.J. Vorster. He is the one who tightened the system even more. They created laws that categorized everyone by race: white, black, African, colored, mixed race, Indian, Asian. Where you could live, work, love, and even walk, all decided by your color. By the 1950s and 60s, apartheid was everywhere. The Population Registration Act, the Group Areas Act and past LWAs made racial segregation official. Families were forced out of their homes. Black South African needed special passes to enter cities. School was separated. Black children were taught they were inferior. That was apartheid, legal racism supported by the state church and police. But resistance grew. The ANC, African National Congresses, and leaders like Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu and Oliver Tambo began to fight back. The 1955 Freedom Charter declared, South Africa belongs to all who live in it. The government responded with violence. Sharpeville Massacre, 1960, 69 people were killed. Soweto Uprising, 1976, hundreds of students shot. So why did apartheid exist? The reason was simple: power and profit. White South Africans are only about 20% of the population, wanted to keep control of the economy, land and government. Apartheid gave them cheap black labor and exclusive privilege. It was about fear of losing dominance in a country where black people were the majority. The National Party used religion, propaganda and education to justify the system. They said segregation was natural, but it was never about nature, it was about greed. By the 1980s, the world turned against apartheid. Economic sanctions, global protests and growing unrest made the collapse. In 1990, Nelson Mandela was released after 27 years in prison. 1994, South Africa held its first democratic election. The people finally spoke. Apartheid was over. Apartheid began with fear and ended with courage. It was started by men who wanted separation and ended by people who believed in unity. Today, South Africa still heals from its wounds, but its story reminds the world: freedom is never given, it is fought for.